guys, and welcome back to my channel. As you know by now, I am currently trying to use our quarantine situation as a way to better my health. I am trying something new each month and sharing that experience with you guys. This month I will be trying Fiton workouts. Fiton is a free to download app with hundreds of workouts from actual qualified personal trainers. I will be trying a new workout every Monday, Wednesday, Friday and sharing that experience with you guys. And at the end of the month, I will be doing my monthly weigh-in. Sorry about my croaky voice. It is very early in the morning. The morning fog hasn't even lifted yet. And I am just ready to get into this. I would love for you all to join me for these at-home workouts, and to show your support for my channel by liking my videos and subscribing if you haven't already. I also do giveaways, reviews, let's plays, and the occasional vlog. First up, today's workout will be the Be Well Balanced with the instructor, Elise Joan.
Hi, I'm Elise Joan, and this is Fiton. Welcome to your mat. Today I'm excited to lead you through a Be Well Balanced flow. And we all know about balancing our breath and our movement, but maybe we didn't know that we'll also be balancing our mind and our body. And we'll be taking these lessons off the mat as well. So this will be a quick 15-minute plus flow that you can incorporate into your life. And of course, we'll be playing with some balance postures as well. So just a little preview that face planting is always welcome. Let's begin in a nice comfortable hip opening seat. This is actually a yoga pose. It's called Sukhasana. So maybe you turn your palms face up on your knees and just begin to cultivate a nice deep breath. Let's inhale together. And when you reach the top of that inhale, begin your exhale by drawing the navel into the spine. And as you exhale, release any stress or worry that may have followed you onto the mat today. And let's just take 3 more breaths, but add some movement. Let's inhale, sweep the arms high and wide, reach up, gather in any of your intentions, bring them to your forehead to align your thoughts, and then to your heart center. And 2 more breaths like that. But this time, let's switch the cross of the ankle. It's a subtle difference, but we want to be well balanced in our hips. So for 2 more breaths, inhale, sweep those arms wide, reach up, and gather in an awareness that you are the creator of your experience today, both on and off the mat. 1 more breath together. Inhale, ride that breath up. Turn your heart center skyward, and exhale, draw those powerful intentions to your mind and to your heart. And let's begin with a stretch. You can lean back, and if you're a little newer to yoga, you'll step the feet a little farther forward as we come to a seated figure 4 stretch. You'll see this later on in a balancing version. So let's just rock side to side in the hips here. Part of being well balanced is not just focusing on flexibility and strength, but mobility and functional movement as well. So if you've been practicing a while and you're very flexible, you may place your weight into the hands, scoot your hips farther forward, and you bring this into a little bit of a deeper hip stretch here. And again, this mobility and flexibility comes with time. So I hope you'll keep joining me on the mat as we grow together. From here, unwind, and if you need the extra space, scoot back, and we'll take this figure 4 stretch on the other side. And just begin to breathe, and again, you can mobilize those hips by rocking side to side. So it's all about being curious about your mobility and your flexibility now, even as we evolve our practice. Those of you that are a little more open in the hips can scoot that seat forward. And again, this is basically a seated, slightly more accessible version of double pigeon. So 1 more breath here. You can scoot back as needed. And then unwind. Our first core challenge is going to be to stand up from a seated position. Can you do it with the arms up, using just your core, no knees or hands? Did you face plant yet? that's okay. Part of being well balanced is knowing that the fear of falling is worse than the fall itself. So let's step to the front of the mat. Why not begin with a nice yoga classic, Sun Salute A, and we'll coordinate and balance our breath and the movements. So on the inhale, reach the arms high and wide. Open that vibrant heart to the sky. And as you exhale, swan dive forward, also leading with the heart. Drop the head and empty the mind of any stress or worry. As you inhale, we lift up to a half forward fold, which means fingertips may slide up your shins, core is active, and we're balancing the stretch of the back body with the energy and intensity of the core. Soften the knees, plant the palms, and step it back. If you're newer to yoga, you know you can always skip these chaturangas or take them on the knees. Let's try one together on an exhale. So we slowly exhale, elbows hug the ribs, hips and heart center stay aligned. And then you can come all the way to the mat, uncurl the toes, and lift to cobra pose. If you feel an up dog in your body, you just lift up off the thighs, a little bit deeper heart opener, both effective. From here, let's come down through the knees, draw the hips back, enjoy a breath in child's pose. And level one, you can always swap out those vinyasas and downward dogs for a stay in child's pose. Let's come back to our classic downward facing dog. If you're newer to yoga, your heels may be high and your knees may be bent, but you're eventually working towards straightening out behind the legs, yearning the heels to the mat, and mobilizing and stretching those hamstrings. In classic Sun Salute A, we take a few deep breaths. What if we started using our breath to our advantage, allowing anything that's not serving us to melt away from our mind, and inhaling a replacement thought that elevates us instead? From here, we'll all lift the heels, bend the knees, and look forward. To be balanced, it helps to look where we're going. In yoga, we call that focal point for our eyes a drishti. We'll walk back to the front of the mat, hinge from the hips for that nice back body stretch, and then inhale, reverse swan dive, reach tall for the sky, always staying connected to the core, and bring the hands to the heart center. Now we're going to try our first balancing pose. It's tree pose, and I have 3 different levels. So we'll start with level 1. Let's begin with hands on the hips. You'll stand on your right leg, lift the left heel, and it's a nice simple external rotation from the hip. We've already worked on this in our seated figure 4. Level 1, feel free to stay here. Level 2, you can slide that foot to the calf. Level 3, you always want to bypass any lateral pressure on the knee. So you can reach down and lift the sole of the foot to connect with the inner thigh. Now, if you need a little balance assistance, as we all do, including myself, you can open those arms wide. And I'd like you to think about guiding the thigh into the foot more than pressing the foot into the thigh. And if both feet are still grounded, awesome. Try to see what happens if you just lift it up for one moment, catch yourself, and come back down. Awesome. Come on down, shake it out, and we try the other side, because to be well balanced, we have to get our right and our left. And if you're anything like me, as you explore tree pose, you'll notice one side has a little more stability than the other. And we want to work our weaker side a little bit longer. So just starting to come into awareness of where your imbalances are will help you as you start to move toward balance. So now we know the alignment. We can activate the core, we can assist ourselves with balance, and now we can focus on the breath. How about 3 deep breaths? And if your leg is wobbly, as mine is, that's good. We're actually stabilizing the ligaments and tendons in the ankles and knees, and this is an investment in our long-term health, as well as our aesthetic bodies. One more breath here. And then both feet down. Now let's come to chair pose. Drop the hips back, lift the heart high. And this is a sequence I like to call folding chair. And I'll actually turn to the side so you can see. Weight is in the heels. And as you fold forward, sweep the arms back. Keep that core connected and lifting off the thighs. Weight in the heels, staying low, and rise back up into your powerful chair pose. Let's try a few together. Exhale, fold. And inhale, lift. So we ride with the breath. We exhale out fear and doubt and worry that can throw us off balance. And we inhale in an awareness that we are centered, grounded, and balanced. Let's try one more. Exhale. Firing up the quads and the hamstrings and the glutes. Lots of good stuff going on. Let's hold and share. Come on up to stand. And just get in nice cactus arms. Open up the heart. Take a couple shoulder rolls. Mobility is an important part of balance. So now we're going to put that figure 4 into a balancing pose, and it starts with chair. So we're basically combining chair and our seated figure 4. I always like to start standing on the right leg. So you'll take the left ankle across the thigh like we did seated, and try funky chair. Now here is where, if you're falling off balance, you can bring hands down to blocks. Always an option. And if it's frustrating, come down to sit instead and work your flexibility until you have the balance to try funky chair. I love the name of that pose as well. So lift up, cactus arms. Now what if we go the other direction with our shoulder rolls? Sometimes a simple change of direction is enough to open up a whole new world of balance. And then of course, we try side 2. So I'll be taking this journey with you, as this is my more challenging side. And I always like to remind us that we never arrive in yoga, right? We're always journeying, and we're all journeying together. So draw the hips back. And as you feel wobbly, a reminder that life is always throwing us off balance from time to time. And that's okay. If we fall down, we get back up. Come on up to stand. I hope you're celebrating how you did, even if it involved a face plant or 2. Let's step our feet wide now, and we'll come into some classic warrior variations. So we're going to angle all 10 toes to your right and find warrior 2. So we have another hip opener, which we've been working on. Our core is strong, and we're opening here. Now, I like to balance strength, endurance, and a strong foundation with a bit of fun and flow. So let's do both. We'll keep the legs rooted down and grounding in our warrior 2. Turn that right palm up, and let's flow. Inhale, a nice side body stretch as we reach up and back to peaceful warrior. Use those strong obliques to come through center. And then let's come to side angle. You can rest the forearm on the thigh as the left arm sweeps up. Let's try it 2 more times, and I'll give you some more options. Reaching it up and back, peaceful warrior advanced. You can play with the half bind behind you. Come up through center and advance. Here we go. Dewey Hasta, 2 arm side angle. A lot of strong core work. And come up to the center. So 1 more, and you can take any of those options that speak to you. If you want to try one of the advanced options, why not? We already learned that falling is not so bad and a part of any well-balanced life. Lift it back up, warrior 2. Finally, we get to straighten that strong right leg. Turn both toes in. Let's do the same thing to the left. Angle all 10 toes to the left. Fire up that strong core and drop it low into your warrior 2. Shoulders are relaxed, legs are strong. Strong foundation in the hips, the feet, the core, and the legs. Fun party time in the upper body. Turn that left palm up. Get long and lean through both sides of the waist here. And then ride that inhale up to center and find your version of side angle. If you take that top arm forward, extending the side angle, that angle begins at the outer edge of the back heel. Now we have 2 more, and I'm going to invite you to just move like yourself here. See if you can dig deep and stay low in those warrior legs, while at the same time reaching and stretching through the upper body. So we get strength, flexibility, mobility, stability, and endurance all in one powerful yoga flow. And I love working the body so efficiently in some of these well-balanced moves. Come up to warrior 2. Straighten the legs. Turn all 10 toes in. Use that core stretch as you zip up the midline of the body. And I have 1 more balancing pose for you to round out this practice before we bring it down for a stretch. It's warrior 3. And I'm going to do it using 2 blocks. One of the things I've learned is the more advanced I get, the more often I use blocks as a tool. So blocks are not a crutch. They're actually a very powerful tool to enhance and advance our practice. So let's try using them together. We remember that half forward fold from earlier in practice. It's coming back into play right now. We bring the hands to the hips. We keep that core engaged. Uddiyana Bandha is our Sanskrit term for that. With soft knees, we hinge forward about halfway, parallel. Already you might feel tight through the glutes and hamstrings, and that's okay. You soften the knees a little bit more. Fingertips come to the blocks, heart center stays reaching forward. Standing on your right leg, just lift that left leg up to parallel, keeping the hips square. What do you know? You're in Warrior 3. Everything else is just glamorous additions. I like to keep the standing knees soft. I like to focus on lengthening my low back, right? Because then I get that nice supple space in my spine and I support it with my strong core. And then from here I breathe, and that's it. I want you to focus more on the extension through the lifting leg and the lift from the seat. Don't worry about the height. The height is just glamour. The intensity comes in the reach. And then for my advanced yogis, you'll know who you are. You can play with one or both arms reaching forward. But what happens if we just bring it back to basics? There's a lot of challenge there. Both feet down. Enjoy a nice full forward fold, drop the head. And then lift and lengthen, and we'll play with side 2. Now, you may be realizing as you lift up into your Warrior 3 that the standing leg is doing a lot of work here, right? That outer hip is just as strong as the lifting leg. And I want you to keep that core strong. And as always in yoga, when in doubt, your heart moves forward and up. Anatomically, that helps lengthen your spine. Metaphorically and emotionally, it reminds us to lead with our heart. If you want to play with the balance, why not? That's why we practice on a mat and not at the edge of concrete buildings, right? We are expected to fall, and it's okay. Part of being balanced is knowing that the fear of falling is much worse than the fall itself. All right, let's come down to the mat. And can we try coming down the same way we come up without our hands? Why not? Let's see. Gonna get a little twist just to stretch your IT band and your outer hips after all that strong standing flow. I'd love you to hug that right knee with your left elbow. Take your left hand behind you. On the inhale, lift up nice and tall. And on the exhale, take a twist to your right. And in this twist, anatomically, the benefits of twists are numerous, including detox, right? It puts some gentle pressure on our lower internal digestive organs to help eliminate waste. And mentally, you can do the same. Can you twist out any self-deprecating thoughts? Or twist out any attachments you have outside of yourself? Just exhale them out into your deepest twist. And then on the inhale, come through center. Lean back. Let's balance it out with that same stretch on our second side. Now in this seated spinal twist, you want both sides of the sit bones to be grounded evenly. So if that's too much for you, a level 1 modification would be to straighten the leg instead. From here, right arm reaches up, hugs that left knee, lift tall through the spine, and on your exhale, twist out some doubt, twist out worry. And I always remind us to twist out this idea that yoga is only for handstanding arm balancers. Yoga is for everyone. And the more advanced I get in my practice, the less focused I become on really impressive looking poses, and the more intentional I become about these deep movements that help support my life off the mat. So one more big twist here. Come through center. Let's lean back. Find a nice comfortable cross-legged position. And I always invite you to add a little shavasana after any practice, because I feel like 15 minutes of hard work like this is enough to earn a little bit of a yoga rest. So I want to thank you for coming to the mat, for falling, for getting back up, and for being well balanced. Thank you so much. Namaste. I'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you on Wednesday.
Subscribe to my channel.